What's up, babes? Chapter 1071, Heroes Offensive. Now, what was weird is this week I'm pretty sure is break week, but last week was supposed to be a break week, so I think this is actually the week that it's supposed to come out. I'm pretty sure it's an official scan. Where I read, I don't think it releases it unless it's an official scan. So I believe it's good. What's funny is the video that I made last week, literally right after I released it, the official scan was released. Not too much after the fact. There could be a fresh one that comes out some point either tomorrow or Friday. But I don't think it's really going to change too much. I think we got just kind of the bulk of it. I do like to read multiple scans just because some of the translations and some of the wording's a bit different, and I feel like sometimes that can kind of hint towards maybe what's to come or what Oda has in mind. But I mean, Oda has a lot on his mind right now because he's been going in with these chapters. This one was no exception. Just to end the year, I mean, he knocked it out of the park once again. And we start with Kuma. Now, the interesting thing with Kuma, and it's funny because, like I said, I've been watching the anime, and it parallels a lot back and forth with where I'm at in the anime, with what's happening in the manga. Remember when Kuma was protecting the Straw Hat ship? And like that was his last act as a partial human? Why? Does that have any relation to what he's doing now? I kind of think so, but I'm not sure. The first thing that comes to mind with me now is the giant straw hat, but there's no way he's going to get even close to that. I don't think. It just doesn't seem like what he's doing that he's going to make it happen. But this is basically the Bondola or the port at the Red Line is where all of the different countries of people were lifted up to Mary Joie. And that's kind of the only thing that we see Kuma do is Kuma just kind of, he like hits the red line, falls, and then he just looks up. And that's all he does. He looks up. They say he's very dangerous. He is in horrible shape. And it looks like he's going to do something. Now, Kuma has yet to miss. Kuma seems to be accomplishing almost everything that he has in mind. Like I said, when he was protecting that, it did say that Vegapunk and him did make an agreement, and what was on the line and what his final mission was has already been programmed for years. So I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something very important. It's just kind of strange. I don't know if he's opening up a path for the resistance. I don't know if he's trying to make a dent in their forces. It just doesn't sound like that's what's going to happen. I mean, you have to understand that not too far away are some absolute phenoms, because I don't think Akainu is that close. He's over there in the new world where G1's located, but there has to be at least a couple admirals ready to back up the defenses there. And Kuma looks like he's in horrible shape, and although we've never really seen him at full power, I just don't know. I think that he is a very large AoE kind of attacker, and he can do some damage. I just don't know where that damage needs to be done. I don't know if he's trying to take out a certain force, trying to take out whatever they have in mind for the Great Cleansing. I don't know if he's trying to take out something that the Gorosei have been protecting. I don't know. I literally have no idea, but I'm so excited and so interested to see what he does. We go right back to Egghead. Lucci and them are all chilling. Zoe until very fast. He looks like he's in good shape, and he's pissed. He's like, I don't accept Straw Hat as an emperor. How much salt do you have to have? How much? He can't take an L. He literally can't take an L. He's so mad. He's like, I don't accept him as an emperor. I won't do it. And it's like, Lucci, calm down, relax. Which I don't know what the hell else he's gonna do this arc, but there was kind of a part in this where I'm like, it doesn't look good for CP0, but we'll see. So we get a lot of the Vegapunks talking back and forth about what they want to do. All the ships except the Straw Hats on the island have been destroyed. Some of them want to fight. Some of them have inventions, but they're just kind of talking between each other. Shaka's still the man. He's still my favorite. I just like how centered he is. I just like how he's even more centered than Dr. Vegapunk himself. So it's very interesting to see. Those guys would be able to switch back the Lunafistas, but they're not really going to have to, because even though the dome went down, which is kind of like the next thing to happen, only the three of them made it up out of the defenses as far as we know. I think that's because the person that he called is going to be up there, and I think that's who's going to come to the ship's aid right now. They said that we do have another ally, and this ally would be able to do some damage. And they're like not even worried. They're like, whoever this ally is very, very strong. my immediate thought, or at least what my brother told me, is he was like, I kind of think it's Scopper. And I thought about it, and I was like, I could see Scopper Gabon. I could see it. We haven't seen him in a minute. He's old, but he was the Sanji of the Roger Pirates. We saw him go head to head with Odin, who we know is a freak of nature. So it's interesting. They said that I've always been prepared for this order and they're ready to go, but I'm not fully convinced that it's him. I'm not fully convinced at all. I've heard some people say that it might be Loki, just because we got a little bit of Kid, a little bit of Elbaf this chapter as well. But I once again, I don't know. And Oda keeps us guessing, even in this final stretch. So they decide, all right, we're going to take all 7 of us, we're going to get on the ship, and we're going to dip. Luffy finally makes his way up to the top with Bonnie, who, like I said, is still kind of being an annoying brat throughout this. But I think that's going to kind of... This arc with Bonnie and Vegapunk is going to show us what Kuma's doing. And I think that as it's happening, that's what Vegapunk's basically going to be explaining. Or even after the fact, and we just see the aftermath of both Fujitora and Green Bull just standing above a dead Kuma after he did whatever he needed to do. And if I had to bet on it, I'm betting on Kuma accomplishing whatever he has to accomplish before he sadly dies. Because the Tyrant King, I don't think, is making it to that final war, that final arc. I just don't think that he's making it. But yeah, somebody turned it off. They don't even know who turned it off. Vegapunk is not in the know, which is something that we're not really used to. But the Frontier Dome was put offline, just enough for Kaku, Lucci, and Stussy to make it in. And like I said, I think that the ally was able to make it in there as well. They said he's just on the island, so I'm not even entirely sure where that is. But they do seem shocked. They were able to get it back online, but not before they were able to make it up there, which is now pretty damn close to not only Vegapunk's brain, but to the Straw Hat ship, which is what they go for immediately. If there's something I like about Lucci, Kaku, and Stussy right now, they're very efficient. They understand what they need to do, what needs to be done, and even Vegapunk's like, yeah, they're pretty shrewd. Like, they took out all the ships. They're taking out everything that's, like, going to allow us to escape before their reinforcements arrive, which, trust me, they're going to be coming any second now. Any second now. I think it's like basically when they get on the ship or when they're on their way out, and if you're on the ship and Kizaru's after you, I just don't understand how they're going to be able to escape someone like Kizaru on a ship. Like, just not out in the open with Kizaru, still a huge problem. But on the ship, how do you not sustain like a ton of damage? I don't know. I think someone might have to like stay behind. It might be the ally again, but that's why my problem with Scopper Gabon is, are we really going to have... So this is kind of... We got Kuma, we got Borsalino on the way, and if they throw in Scopper Gabon to defend them again, I'm like, it's just kind of like Sabaody Part 2, where Rayleigh like defends them, and he's like, you guys get out of here, and I'll take care of this. Which kind of makes me think that it's not him, but I can't think of anybody else that it would be in terms of the strength capacity, because there's a lot of potential people that it could be, but in terms of how they're talking about them, in terms of their strength, it has to be someone like really solid, like someone really good who's been hiding from the government for a very long period of time. And that makes sense that it would be like a Roger Pirate, or maybe old Whitebeard somebody, but even at that point, I don't see them being super duper strong. I just don't see it happening. Kaku sends out a Sky Slicer towards the ship, and then we get my boy waking up from a nap, waking up with his observation and just saying, nah, enough of that shit. That one panel of the 3 things of Zoro, the dude is just a menace. I don't even think we fully understand his strength now, like where he stands among everybody. I think he could handle Lucci for sure, Kaku for sure, and Stussy for sure. Even though we haven't seen a thing from Stussy, I'd bet on it. I'd heavily bet on it. But all 3 at once is going to be tough. And even though Brook is on the ship as well, he might be able to deal with Kaku, or at least hold him off. I think that he will be able to. Brook has been clutch. Brook has always been clutch. Go back and check Brook's feats. He's always been clutch. It doesn't matter if it's Big Mom. It doesn't matter who it is. The man's been clutch. But I just don't know how they're going to be able to protect the ship. So we'll see. I think the ally is probably going to get in there just in time. But right when Luffy makes it all the way up to the top, after the Frontier Dome goes down, and Bonnie just attacks poor Vegapunk, not understanding the situation, that they kind of need to like get a move on. But I think at that point he's going to be forced to explain kind of what's going on with Kuma in order to calm her down. She's going to get emotional again, and then hopefully she fucks right off, because I'm honestly sick of her. I really could care less about Bonnie. I don't enjoy her right now in this arc. She's like the only boner killer in this whole arc right now, and it's annoying because I'm like, dude, you're chasing away Vegapunk when he has so much to tell us. So much to tell us. Like, he could have told us all of One Piece already. He could have just told us the entire story. But it goes somewhere in the waters of the New World, and we see Killer and we see Kid, and it turns out they're at the home of the giants, Elbaf. So what we expected the Straw Hats to do, the Kid Pirates are actually at Elbaf, which is insane because I don't know. I don't know what this means for them, but that just means that like Kid is gonna further like go ahead. And the reason I kind of like Loki is because if you take Vegapunk and Loki to Elbaf, then it makes it super interesting. And now the villain of that arc would then be Kid. And I think Kid could be a cool villain to have before we have to deal with Blackbeard, before we have to deal with Akainu, all that stuff. But speaking of Blackbeard, we go to the final page and they're like, so we already gave you Kuma. We already gave you what's happening, the crazy shit that's happening on Egghead. Elbaf, believe it or not, the Kid Pirates are there because why the fuck not? And they're like, hey, Garp. Garp is going to make a scene. Garp is going to make an appearance. He talks with Doll about, they're like, no, we're about to send all our forces over to Egghead. Like, Borsalino's almost there. We just need our people out there now here at G14. But he's like, no, I'm going to go beat up the dude who took Kobe. One of my dudes, my pupil, my star pupil, I mean, Helmeppo, get on the ship, but my star pupil, that dude he took him away, and I won't have it. They're like, did you even tell Sakazuki? Does Kong know about this? Does the Goro say you even know what you're doing? And he's like, the who? The what? I'm just like, yeah, that's Garp. That's Garp. I mean, that's a monkey if I've ever seen one. But he's like, yeah, we're going to the island that he kicked off one of the old Roger pirates. I forget his exact name. I think his name is based off a Chinese pirate back in like the 1400s or something like that. But he's like Helmeppo. And the girl, I kind of forget who the girl is. I couldn't even tell you her name, but they're going to hop on the ship. Now, the thing with this is, it's just Garp. Helmeppo might be as strong as a vice admiral. No. In terms of like plot, sure, maybe you can give that to him, but it's literally just going to be Garp. Garp is going to go in there and he's going to try to take out an entire emperor all by himself as a 74 or 78-year-old man, something like that. Mid-70s. I'm just like, what? I don't know what the plan there is entirely. I don't know if maybe an admiral comes to the aid, but he's literally like, it's just me. It is just me. I'm a dog. I'm about it, and I'm going to get in there. And I'm just like, holy shit, Garp, I want to see it. I don't know. I don't see them killing Garp this early, especially Blackbeard killing another one of Luffy's family members. I'd just about lose it. But holy shit, I want to see it. I do want to see it because all we've seen Blackbeard do so far is beat up people with devil fruits. I have not seen him beat up a hockey master. I haven't seen it, and I don't think I'm going to see it. Even at 70, whatever, I think Garp still has him covered. I'd bet on Garp, but I wouldn't bet on Garp over the entire crew. I mean, even though there are a bunch of dorks and a bunch of thumbs on that crew that nobody really cares about, as far as I can tell, and most of the One Piece fandom, I just don't see it happening. I don't know what he's going to pull out. I don't know if he's just going to go straight damage and just throw an entire cannonball and just destroy the entirety of the island. I don't know, but I'm excited. I don't know if Law gets involved somehow with Kobe. I'm not sure. All I know is that with the warp fruit and all the fruit that Blackbeard's crew has been collecting, they were a force to be reckoned with. But if there's one other person I know is a force to be reckoned with, even if we haven't seen it, just the feats and what we've seen, what we know about Garp alone, I want to see it. Chapter was sick. Nothing this week, but something next week. So it was kind of awkward. It was like kind of like a break-ish, but we got it like kind of halfway, so it's kind of chill. But I'm looking forward to the next chapter, and Happy New Year, guys. I will see you on the flippity flop.